What's going on YouTube? My name is Jay. Welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking on it. Today we're talking about the big evil in gaming at the moment, which is Activision. A lot of people have seen the reports recently going around on Twitter that they have sent cease and desist letters to not only SM2 but also to X Labs, two of the biggest makers of the modded community games of the old Modern Warfare 2 engine and so much more. They have basically told them to shut down. Now this is incredibly ridiculous. It is incredibly saddening on the part of the gaming community that want to play these old games and enjoy them from what they were way back in the day. People call people that like those games boomers because we want to go back to that era. There's a reason we want to go back to that era. The Modern Warfare 2 engine, while it was chaotic, was so fluid, so smooth. It was brilliant to play on. The weapons were fun. They were broken as all hell, but as I've stated so many times on this channel, it was an arcade shooter, which is exactly what Call of Duty needs to go back to. It does not need to be a real-time military shooter. We don't need weapon tuning. We don't need anything like that. We just need a fun Call of Duty experience. And these two makers of SM2 and 1W4X were some of the biggest and funnest games that you could possibly play. Whether you played it alone, whether you played it with friends, it does not matter. These games, it was one of the reasons I got into modded Call of Duty as a whole. I have absolutely adored IW4X. I have never had a chance to play SM2, and I never will have a chance to play SM2, which is frustrating. I have seen clips on it, and it looks fun. It looks like what COD Online tried to be in China for what we all wanted. It was just a game on a very good source engine, which just had tons of maps, tons of guns, and it just made everything so much more fun. And that's the disappointing thing that Activision feel the need to ruin that for the fans and ruin their fun, because this is a multi-billion-pound company that has produced game after game after game, year in, year out, and yet they are worried about the fact that there are modders making better games than them. With Black Ops 3, they introduced modding for zombies, and still to this day, it has been 8 years, and the zombies community within the modded section is still thriving to this day. And the reason is they were given that control with those modding tools, something that the likes of SM2 and that they've had to do it on their own, you know. And some of the stuff that they've done, it's made Call of Duty fun again. It really has. With how bad some of the most recent releases are, or how you feel about those releases, these games were fun. And yes, they were only exclusive to PC, and that does take away from a massive part of the community. But if you had the chance to experience them and play them, then you will understand why it's so much fun and why this is such a ridiculous thing that Activision is doing. They don't really need to shut these games down. They have no need to. They've got the money. They don't care. They keep pumping out games. They keep lying to the community. And what does that community do? It goes and finds an older game that they enjoyed and wants to play it again. You cannot play those games naturally. You look at Plutonium. Plutonium currently, right now, as I'm making this, is still up. And with Plutonium, it just takes the old game and allows it to be played in the modern day on PC. Now, whether that does get taken down, despite the fact it realistically shouldn't, it is nothing more than just a client engine that allows you to play the older CODs with an updated player list. I have no idea. And it just saddens me to think that they only care about what's now. Look, you should never matter about what happened in the past. The idea of the past is it happened, you have to move on. With gaming, the sweet release of that is that you can go back and play these old games and you can have fun doing it. How many people have gone back and played games like Need for Speed Underground, Simpsons Hit and Run? Because A, we've not had a game of that from that maker since, or that genre since, that has truly captured what that franchise was. And you look at Call of Duty, people want to go back and play Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare 3. That's the 5 best games in terms of sales wise and just in terms of what it did for the community that Call of Duty ever had. Since then, it really has gone downhill. Obviously, Black Ops 3 was a a bright spark in that. But the problem with now is people look at Black Ops 3. This is a slight tangent on this. People look at Black Ops 3 now the same way we look at Modern Warfare 2, a little bit through rose-tinted glasses. I think it was a member of Carnage on TikTok put a video up saying that Black Ops 3 was one of the best CODs ever made. And while I do agree with him, a lot of the comments are looking through it going, well, yes, it was amazing. Let's not forget that the campaign for Black Ops 3 was terrible, and that's another video in entirety talking about campaigns, because I got really riled up on TikTok on this. The campaign was terrible, Nightmares was really fun, the multiplayer was quality while it had issues, and Zombies was amazing. The pay-to-win aspect of Black Ops 3 does hinder it for a lot of people. But people still love that game. People still love the fact that there is a community out there made for the Zombies community, to make ridiculous maps, to take old maps and bring them new and do whatever they want to do with it, because they were given the license to do it by Treyarch, and they said, yeah, do you know what, this is only going to be good. They saw what the World at War modded community did without their help, so they went, well, let's see what they can do with our help, and now look how much it's thrived. And unfortunately, Activision don't really see that. They see it as, well, people should be playing the newer games. They should be playing the up-to-date titles. But the problem is the up-to-date titles suck. Now, the problem with Modern Warfare 2 is right now is it's just not a good game. While the campaign is excellent, Spec Ops is non-existent. I don't think I see anyone talking about that. DMZ is fun, but, you know, it's a very try-hardy game mode for a lot of people. And despite the fact most people jump into DMZ just to do a few challenges, get some XP, and then have a bit of fun. They don't really want to be sitting there in a dogfight sweating for their lives just to do a simple challenge. The multiplayer is pretty poor. And in terms of the raids, they come around every single season. They get one mission, and while those missions can take a while, it leaves you wanting more. And while I get that's probably what they want to do, it kind of sucks the life out of the game, that bit, because you're then just waiting. You know, a season can last 2 months, and not a lot of people have got a 2-month time frame to just sit there and wait for something new. They need constant updates. When you look at what the older Call of Duties did with Black Ops 2, for example, when it first started, is they were rolling out constant camo updates, and then they introduced the Peacekeeper to keep the game fresh. With Modern Warfare 3, every single month from January you would get a new face-off map, which also was introduced as well into it. You had multiple new maps come into the game, and it kept the game fresh every single month. Nowadays, it's stifled behind a certain time frame rather than giving the community what they want, and Activision has been doing that for so long now. And I talk about the lies from earlier. They said that Modern Warfare 2 was going to be a 2-year COD. Now we know for a fact, and while it hasn't been officially announced, we are going to get Modern Warfare 3 apparently at the end of this year, which is just going to be a continuation of the game that we've already got, and we don't want that. As much as I love the original Modern Warfare 3 and it is my favourite COD of all time, it will be ruined because of the fact no one wants to play an updated game on this engine, on this platform, nothing. Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer realistically does not have many redeeming features that's going to want people coming back to play it. It's turning people onto Warzone and then turning people off Warzone because Warzone is just so broken. It's got people going back and playing the old Warzone. Do you know how bad you have to be to have your main game flop so badly, and then the update to one of the best, most beloved battle royales flop so hard that people have to go back and play the older versions because it's so much more fun? And they don't look at that. There's a guy, I keep referencing to it, there's a guy on TikTok who pretends to be an Activision intern and telling all these good ideas to Activision, and honest to God, every time I watch it I laugh, but it's this is actually what's happening. There are probably people at Activision as interns going, this is what we could do for the game, this is what we could do for the player, and then just going, nah, we don't need that, let's just throw out a Kevin Durant skin, or, no disrespect to these two, but a Tim the Tapman or a Nick Merckx skin, a Lionel Messi, a Neymar. Who needs that? Like, look, I know they're fun, and my mate has been suckered into buying every single one of these, but do we really need a Messi, a Neymar, a Pogba skin in a Call of Duty? Look, I know we had freaking Boink the Clown in Advanced Warfare, we had Snoop Dogg in Warzone, and also was a voiceover character in Ghost, and while it's little things it can be okay, but we don't need that in Call of Duty. All Call of Duty fans want at the core is just a game in which you can go into it with your friends, kill some people, and move on. Have a good time doing it. That's where skill-based matchmaking has ruined it so much. And I've avoided talking about skill-based matchmaking in videos for the last 2 or 3 years, because it's just a topic that you could sit there and talk about for about 13 hours and you'd still have content. Skill-based matchmaking has ruined COD in the same way Activision doesn't care about what the players want. And the problem is, you can plea, you can make your videos, you can tweet them, nothing's going to happen, because Activision have it in their head that this is how it has to be, and it doesn't. But when someone makes a video game or takes an original video game, kind of like Modern Warfare 2, and gives it an updated twist, they have to go, well, no, you can't do that. We have to do that, and that's not going to happen. When people talk about COD killers, they talked about it for years. Battlefield 2042 was meant to be that. It flopped so hard. There is a game currently out, I don't know if it was in alpha and was allowed for a bunch of people to play it. I think it was Defiant or whatever it was, and people were calling this the next COD killer. And then there were some people going, yes, this could be it, and then some people going, but COD will never die. The problem is, COD will never die is because these games get a little bit of traction and then just get completely abandoned, and then Activision will just sit there and go, well, do you know what, we just have them back. We have them back in the palm of our hand, and we can do what we want with them, because as suckers, we buy it every single year. I have said to myself for years to stop buying the same games over and over again, and I've never been able to do it. Maybe whether it's due to peer pressure or not, I don't know. FIFA's gladly that's ending, so I don't have to buy another one of them, but Call of Duty is always going to be that sucker in the back of my head going, no, you're going to have to buy it. And the thing is, I don't want to buy this next COD, because if it is true that we are getting a Modern Warfare 3 and it is just going to be another 50, 60, 70 pound game, what's the point when we've already got that now, and it's already a waste of time, it's a waste of money. So many people dislike this COD, and there's no wonder. The game is terrible, but they will not listen. I will leave it there. This rant is over. If you guys like this sort of stuff and want to hear me talk about more topics and everything, let me know down below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace. Final thing, IW4X, I love you. SM2, we will miss you too.